plan of the Karnak Temple complex. The panel shows a simplified plan of the Karnak Temple complex, located on the east bank of the Nile River in Thebes, modern-day Luxor. All the statues on display in the Gallery of the Kings originally came from this location. Temple complexes provided buildings for religious worship, but also housed storerooms and residencies for the priests and caretakers of the area. Only some spaces, however, were accessible to worshippers, in particular during religious processions. Statues of the gods and pharaohs were placed in the temples. On the panel, we've highlighted the temples of the main gods. The temple complex stood near the river, highlighted at the bottom of the panel, and consisted of several buildings, all protected by boundary walls. There were also several entrances. From the river, following the arrow on the panel, you encounter the remains of an avenue with sphinxes on both sides. This leads to the first large area of worship, with a square-shaped plan surrounded by an enclosure wall. It was dedicated to Amun-Ra, patron deity of the city of Thebes. Temples dedicated to other deities are also located in this large area. After passing the first monumental entrance, marked by two large rectangular-shaped towers, known as pylons, in the left corner you will find a court that housed the chapel of the sacred boats. At the entrance to the chapel, which functioned as a shelter for the boats that were used during processions, were two colossal statues of Pharaoh Seti II, one of which is on display in the gallery you're about to visit. The temple consists of a series of courts, some open to the sky and others covered, preceded by two monumental pylons. The next area features a group of large columns and leads to the more reserved areas of the great temple of Amun. A little further up, still within the large sacred enclosure, there is another small temple called the Temple of Amun-Ra, who hears prayers. The statue of Ramses II that you will find on display in the next gallery comes from this exact location. To the right of this area, there is a large sacred lake measuring 120 meters by 77. Inside the sacred enclosure that marks the area dedicated to the cult of Amun-Ra, halfway down the left side, we have the temple dedicated to the god Ptah. The standing statues of the goddess Sekhmet, displayed in the next gallery, come from this temple. In correspondence with the same temple, there's another enclosed area with a temple dedicated to Montu, an ancient local deity. Going back in the large enclosure of Amun-Ra, at the bottom on the right, is the temple of the god Khonsu. Perpendicular to the great temple of Amun, there is a series of 4 courtyards. At the end, beyond a passage in the walls, another long processional way, flanked by sphinxes, leads to the third sacred enclosure, with the temple dedicated to the goddess Mut, wife of the god Amun. The statues of the goddess Sekhmet, seated on a throne, come from this temple and are also exhibited in the next gallery. The buildings of the Karnak Temple complex were constructed in different periods, spanning over 2,000 years of history, starting from the Middle Kingdom up until the Roman period.